Excuse me. You sprayed me with your clothes. I don't. That's not necessary.
This video is for anyone that's been frustrated with automation in Fairlight. I'm going to walk you through basic setup, but more importantly, how you edit automation, which I couldn't find anything on. Here's what we have so far with this train passing by. So we've automated a fader, we've automated some panning, I've automated some EQ frequency roll-off, and a little stereo width on the master bus. So let me reset everything and I'll walk you through. When you reset your automation, this is global for the track. So if you do it, make sure you definitely want to commit to it. So I'm going to right click and hit clear track automation and hit reset. I'm going to do the same thing with audio 1. So now all automation is completely removed. I want to show you what it looks like by default. When you first get on the Fairlight page, you'll have the volume over here. And if we add a couple points, you can see this is changing the volume, but it's manipulating the clip. What we want to do is actually automate the fader in this first example. So it will fade out as the train gets further away. So to enable automation, right next to your playback controls here, click this button. It's called Toggle Automation. When you click it, you're now greeted with a little drop-down menu, and this will let you select whatever parameter you're looking to control in the automation lane. Right now it's gray because there's zero automation in that parameter, and we're on fader. We're also going to open up automation controls, which is right next to that. It's got a little gear, and now this lets you choose what you're going to automate. Right now we're in write mode, which is what we want to do. I'm going to leave the touch parameters alone and just keep it in off. That's more advanced. I'm going to keep the stop on hold, and then we're just going to choose what we want to enable for the writing. So right now I'll just choose fader, and then we have to select fader down here. So I'm going to use the drop down menu and choose fader level. Now there's a few different ways you can write this. You can click in here. So let's say we like where the fader is here, where the playhead is. I'm going to hit option and click. That adds 1 point. Now you can see our automation lane is turned green. If we look at our fader right here, it's also green, and that means it's reading automation. So if we wanted this to fade, say, right here, I can option click and add another point here. And if you hover over the point, you can see we get this little arrow, four-way arrow icon on our cursor, and I'll just drag this down. Now, if we play back, you'll see this fader lowers down when the playhead passes over this automation move. Now, if we want to do elongate it, make it a little slower, we could drag it out, make it a sharper curve, all those sort of things. Now, this is just a 2-point automation, so it's not too bad. You can get into other ones that have a lot of points. It gets a little harder to edit. So that's clicking in 2 points of automation. You can also draw it with the fader. What we have to do is go over here into our track control next to the fader level. There's an automation icon. I'm going to click that. It's going to turn red. That means it's ready to record. So if we roll back a little bit, any move we make on the fader will now be recorded as an automation move. And you can see our fader down here on the bottom right has turned red. I'm going to click on it and hold. So I'm ready to make the move. I'm going to hit play and I'll lower it down with the fader this time. Okay, so now you can see we got a lot of automation points. Part of what I found frustrating was editing the automation. If we're on the arrow key, we're still selecting our clips here, but if we get in near the automation point, we get that same 4 arrow. We can move some of these, but to get in and actually delete them or move them around is kind of tedious. What we need is this third tool in our taskbar called focus mode. I'm going to hit that. This is a multi-tool. So right now the icon looks like an eye, and if we go a little lower, it turns into a hand, which lets us grab clips still. So you can think of it as a dual purpose tool. So if I want to select just this automation, maybe I want to delete it, maybe I want to move it around, I can hover up above where the eye icon, and anything in the range, if I click and drag to move it around, I'll select it all, and I'll use my comma and period keys to move these around. So let's say right about here, and then we'll give that a try. Now, if there's some funky moves in here, we can always go in here and move it. And another thing I like to do is use this pencil tool here. So I'm going to click pencil. I'm just going to make a bigger swipe here, and that's a bit smoother of an automation line. I could probably even do better like that. And now we have a little nicer of a drop, although it's kind of abrupt right there, but you get the idea. So that's how you can delete these and move it. If you need to just grab a couple, I'm going to go back to focus mode here. So here I'm on this tool. I'm just going to choose a couple of spots, maybe these two, delete them. So if I wanted to smooth this line out a little bit, let's say we only needed the 2 points that we had originally, something more like that. In fact, we could even delete these first two, because with this type of automation, I'd prefer a nice curve like that. All right, so that's our fader level. Now what I wanted to do was the panning, because right now we just have a stereo track and it doesn't really pan much. So now I'll choose from our drop down pan, left, right pan. Now it's gray again for no automation. I'm going to park my playhead right about where I want the panning to start. And I'm going to click in with option, turns into a plus sign, click, and if I hover over it and hold it, it says C for center. So we want it to go to the right or the left. So I'm going to pick a point like right about here, grab it. If I go up, it's to the left. If I go down, it's to the right. So now if we look at our panning, we can see right here that it's going to pan to the right with this automation move. So now we have a fader and a pan move. Now, what else I want to do is add an EQ move. So I'm going to grab EQ, I'm going to go band 6, and we're going to go frequency. I'll double click this EQ to see where we're at. You can see band 6 is actually off, and you can see all the parameters on this EQ have a little green icon. That's indicating it's ready for automation. So first things first, I need to turn band 6 on. So we go to EQ, band 6, on, off. For some reason, it has a point in here where it's automated to be off. I'm just going to drag it and click it up, and now it's on. So now you can see band 6 is red. So we're done with that part of that parameter. I'll go to EQ, band 6, frequency, and I just want to roll off the highs as this train passes. So I'll go right about here. We're ready to record. Once I click this record button, you can see our little knobs turn red. I'm going to hold it, and as the train passes by, I'll roll the high frequencies off and it'll record that move. So here's our high frequency roll off, and if we watch band 6 here, you can see it'll roll as the automation plays. And now you can also automate plugins by themselves. What I want to do is automate this stereo width. So right now I'll put it back to default. We're already on that plugin here on our drop-down menu, but you can click here. This also has fader, mute, EQ, compressor, but here's the plugins that we inserted. So stereo width, and it's already on the width parameter. Once again, it's grayed out because there's no automation written. So I'm going to make a point right here so it knows to just stay at 1, which is default. And as this train passes by, I'm going to crank the width up. So I'll add another point, and I'm just going to pull it up. So now when it reaches this section, you can see our width parameter has gone full. So let's listen to what that does real quick. So that really exaggerates our pan over to the right. If we look at the surround analyzer here, you could see, as well as our output fader meter is actually really heavy on the right. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.